The steam engine was invented in 1793 by Robert Fulton. Fulton was born outside of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The steam engine was the main force behind the Industrial Revolution. It changed transportation and how much quicker you can get across the ocean. In 1876, the Coriolis engine was presented. This engine was the world's largest steam engine. It was used to provide mechanical flow in factories to generate electricity.
Samuel Morse developed the telegraph in the 1830s and 1840s. It was in the early 19th century that the components to construct an electrical communication system had been discovered. The telegraph changed long-distance communication. It transmitted electrical signals over a wire laid between stations. In 1824, Michael Faraday invented the rubber toy balloon. He had worked with hydrogen at the Royal Institution in London. Faraday wrote in a journal to record his observations. He noted that the rubber has expanded as air was forced into them. He also added hydrogen into the balloon and noticed that the balloon became extremely light. Faraday made his balloons by cutting two round sheets of rubber, laying them on top of one another and pressing the edges down. The tacky rubber welded automatically, creating the balloon.
In 1839, Kirkpatrick Macmillan invented the bicycle. It was propelled by a horizontal, reciprocating movement of the rider's feet on the pedals. The movement was transmitted onto cranks on the back wheel with connecting rods. The bicycle was an extremely heavy machine, taking lots of physical effort to ride. The safety bicycle was invented in 1885. The idea was to create a bike with two equal-sized wheels. The safety bicycle was not considered suitable for women to ride and promoted immodesty.
In addition to the telegraph, Samuel Morse also invented Morse code. Morse code used various sets of dots and dashes matching each letter of the English alphabet. Morse code could send simple transmission of complex messages across telegraph lines. In 1844, Morse sent his first telegraph message from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore, Maryland by 1866. Although by the 21st century the telegraph was replaced by phones, fax machines, and the internet, it still laid as the groundwork for the communications revolution, which led to later inventions.
Rubber was invented by Charles Goodyear in 1844. It was a common material used in creating balloons. Later, rubber was used for tires on bicycle wheels. In 1866, dynamite was invented by Alfred Nobel. He discovered that mixing nitroglycerine with silica would turn the liquid into dynamite. This invention became a huge discovery for mining. Miners would insert cylinders of dynamite into holes and blow up mines.
In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. This device could transmit speech. He experimented with electrical signals, working to successfully transmit multiple messages over a wire. Bell recorded his observations in a notebook, and according to his book, the first successful transmitted sentence over the telephone was directed to Thomas Watson. Edward Muybridge invented the first moving picture in 1877. He used freeze frame, where he would take multiple pictures of various actions and place them in order to create motion pictures. One of his most successful motion pictures came about because of a bet. Somebody bet Edward that he could not prove that a horse had all four hooves off the ground while galloping at once. Edward accepted the challenge and devoted much of his time to capturing photos of the horses. And in the end, Edward was successful and used his motion pictures to capture the horse.
James Ritty invented the cash register in 1883. It was the first working mechanical cash register. This helpful invention was later sold by the National Manufacturing Company. The cash register was nicknamed and became widely known as the incorruptible cashier. The escalator was invented by Jess W. Reno in 1891. This machine was a type of transportation that allowed people to move up and down without having to walk. It is a moving staircase with steps that move up or down using a conveyor belt. At first, passengers were amused by this invention and thought it was not a practical transportation device. This moving stairway cost a small fee to ride, but some people thought it was worth the price.
In 1886, Coca-Cola was invented by Dr. John Pemberton. In April 1865, John was wounded in the Battle of Columbus. He had various wounds and became addicted to morphine, which helped ease his pain. He was a pharmacist and as such, searched for a cure to counteract his own addiction. In 1866, Pemberton began working on formulas that would serve as opium-free alternatives to morphine. He experimented with coca, coca wines, and cola nut, and eventually created Coca-Cola.
The various advancements in technology were a major factor leading to the American industrialization.
All of these different inventions are essential to our everyday life.